Well, welcome to Bow to Glory Coaching Services. Dr. Andre Callahan. I'll be presenting your coaching session for tonight. This is week four, actually. I'm sorry, week five, actually, given to church health systems. And we will be going over strategies, the intentions to succeed. So we're looking forward for tonight. It's going to be extremely important before we actually engage in some of the church systems to present a little bit more healthier culture and operation and administration of your church. So we're looking forward for just an incredible enlightenment of a lot of powerful teachers and demonstration throughout this PowerPoint and throughout this video here. Strategies are very, very important. Now, of course, we do not weigh them more than the church culture, the core values, because we understand earlier that without good church culture, a healthy church culture, and known core values unto the people, as well as uh, having a great vision from God, an understood mission that is culturally articulated in such a way they speak the language of your church and not just general missions. Even though all churches have the same mission, it's going to be worded different per. So the strategies are very important. So we want to kind of go over this a little bit. Strategies that work. Strategies that work. What's important here is not just implementing good ideas, but implementing a system that works. A system is a collection of principles, standards, people, and equipment that work cohesively together towards the same goal. Once you find a system that works for your church, you simply enhance it as time goes on. Because you want to do the modification, adjustment, adapting to the people and the change of times and equipment. You know, being a preacher and a public speaker, you no longer use cassette tapes, so you have to modify your medium of getting your messages out to MP3, MP4, CD, DVDs, and so forth. And so you have to change some of the systems, maybe even some of the people if they're not equipped for any skill. So this is really important that you implement a system and not just good ideas. Because they made it last for a moment. Once that good idea has been performed and you got certain results, that's it. And so we want to go beyond just implementing good ideas. We want to implement a system that will be continually working, even when you're not there, even when you're not present, even when you got one or two people missing. Still, it will go into full operation, and that's exactly what you want. That's the whole purpose. So you want strategies that work. You want to have good systems that have been implemented that can work, that people feel comfortable in, that everyone can understand, and it's easy to perform, and not just limited to two or three different people who can only do the task. You want it to work so well that anybody can come in, learn the system, and work it with great success. So that's exactly what you want to be able to do. Have the right principles, right standards, right people. Of course, everyone are already right, if you will, but you got to put them in the right place. You know, and sometimes you can have the wrong people in the wrong place, and the wrong people who are actually good people, right people, you end up bruising their confidence, maybe even lose some members or lose some leaders. So you don't want to do that. You want to put people in the right place. Take your time in placing people. One thing I have heard and I experienced personally myself is a whole lot easier to put people in a certain place than it is to remove them from that certain place there. Okay, so you want to be patient. You want to have a lot of prudence, a lot of wisdom, seek a lot of counsel. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs that certain purposes are not established without counsel. So you need to have good counsel. That's why you got a mastermind. So don't try to do things by yourself. You're going to end up holding that bag by yourself as well. And it's not good stuff in that bag, okay? All right, so strategies that we will cover, which would be evangelism, marketing, finances, and financial planning. Actually, two different things, the one on the same subject. Service planning, spiritual equipping, leadership communication. Now, these are the essentials. Now, I understand there's probably a whole lot more that you may say you want to cover, and these are just general topics. We're going to have different working components within each one of those. So you may have like an assimilation, how to assimilate within the evangelistic. So once you bring them in, you need to know how to assimilate visitors, new members into your community and your church family. And so we will have different subjects and working components to bring the whole evangelistic system into a good working plan there. So these are essentials and building blocks every church needs to be successfully operating in. So you may have other different systems that other people may mention or talk about, which is great. It's wonderful. But these are the basic. You got to have a great evangelistic system. You must have a great marketing. If no one know that you are even there, um, no one know that you even exist, no one gonna come and visit you. Just that plain and simple. You can have a big church, but it doesn't mean that people know you. You can have a TV ministry. Does not mean that people know you. You have to have a continual working successful marketing plan. Finance and financial planning. I can literally say that a lot of churches do not have a good financial plan, you know, and that's highly important, very important. Service planning. A lot of people that do not plan for their services. The days of getting everything together, this Saturday before Sunday, whether it's your sermon or your songs, your dances, wherever they may be, it is going to be poor planning, and wherever it's that poor planning, it's going to be poor results. And you only get that one time to impress or leave an impression upon your visitors and your new members or members, period. So, don't have people dreading to come to your worship service. And don't be so unpredictable, even in your preaching or your singing and so forth. So, it's really important that we have those particular areas. Okay, so strategy, a new way of looking at it. So we just don't want to do evangelism. We just don't want to market. We just don't want to have a financial ministry. We just don't want to have services on Sunday or spiritual equipping or leadership. Just have leaders. We want to have a system. We want to have an evangelism system. Okay, working components, people, principles, standards, equipment, and so forth. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a beautiful plan as options for you to be able to use. Okay, a marketing system. A marketing system. We need a system that works. Every church may have a different marketing system, which is fine. That's okay. What works for you? You got to be within your budget. Okay, and then down the road you may increase that budget, that marketing system. But you got to have a system, not just throw some seeds and just hoping one of them will grow. A financial system. You got to have a financial system. A lot of people just got a one part or two part financial system. Bringing in money, tithes and offering, and then spending money, and nothing in between. Okay, so we got to have a financial system, a service planning system. Very important, and we're going to go over that extensively. As well as spiritual equipment, your prayer, your consecration, your fasting. What is that like? Is it systematic? We understand that spontaneity have a lot to do with it, but it's a system in it. Leadership communication. Do you have a constant training program for your leaders? They need to be always equipped. They need to always know how to communicate with one another, how to communicate with your people, how to communicate to God. So you need to have always leadership training, leadership involvement, leadership exhortation, rewards for your leaders. Get having events where they can be refreshed. They can be stir back up in their faith, or just relax, be appreciated. So you need to have a system set aside. You should always be training and working, laboring. You should reward them, show appreciation for them, for their labor and so forth, because you need not only the leaders, but you need leadership. Okay, you need a leadership. Everyone in the ship, a leader. And literally, be honest with you, I mean, you have certain leaders that have positions, and it's over people in the ministry, but everyone in your church is a leader. You know, whether they're a father, or mother, or husband, or wife, a supervisor on a job, they're a leader somewhere. So strategies, people first, then ideas. It's really important because most church strategists think of the ideals first and try to force people to fit within that idea, and it's just not going to work. You're gonna have counterproductive um, results, and you may have even conflicting results. So it's really important that we do this in different ways. An example, but the idea may be an extroverted task, right? Given to an introverted person. Okay, so it may be a task. Let's say if it requires a lot of meeting new people, meeting strangers, and so forth, and everything else. Let's say an evangelistic, right? And so you may have someone that's an evangelist, but they may be an introvert. There may be somebody who not comfortable with talking to strangers and so forth and everything else, and they're not willing in this season in their life right now to come out of that shell. But they could be excellent in prayer hotline over the phone, or even a blog, and they may be very well in that, ready to meet the people face to face. And give them time, they will get over that, they will get delivered, but that doesn't mean that you need to put them on the back burner. Find out where they can fit in until God continue to make them whole. So it's really important. So your idea may flop, and you may lose a good person or their confidence in you. Understanding people's personality, which is emotional intelligence, their skills and motivation are all essential in strategizing. And emotional intelligence is, I would say, just as important, if not more important, than one's intellectual quotient, IQ. Because emotional intelligence has to deal with how they can handle stress, how they can handle people. When the pressure is on, how can they handle all of that? Everyone handle pressure differently, or not well at all. So it's really important that we understand people. It's not just that. Are people rewarding? Are people personable? That's certain one. So we need to understand all of that, because it's so very essential and very important. Okay, and so all of that goes into, as you are strategizing, which we're going to get into a little later. But as you're strategizing, you need to understand people. You need to understand who they are, their strength, their weaknesses, their skills, their abilities, their time, the devotion they can bring to that project and to that task. All of those are extremely important. Strategizing, 4 coaching tips you can't do without. Okay, there are 4 you literally cannot do without. One, what's your vision, mission, and core values? Now, you'll probably be hearing this throughout the past 3 months, all of the 5 lessons, because you need to know the church vision, the church mission, and not just the mission on for all churches, which are the same. Okay, but the mission that is relanguaged, if you will, re-articulated for your church. Okay, and the core values. Okay, and you should have this stuff pretty much memorized by now. Okay, because we've been going over this for a little while. So it's really important that you know this. People without a vision, they will perish. So this cannot be overemphasized. The only reason for a map is because you have a predetermined destination. Otherwise, you and your supporters can be miles away from your God-breathed vision. And so it's important. You must know the church vision. You can't strategize, have a roadmap and you don't know where you're going. Okay, so you need a church mission. I mean, vision. And then you need a mission, on getting there. Why are you going there? Why are we traveling there? You may be traveling 2,000 miles somewhere. You need to have a reason why you are going there. Because you're going there because of a job, there's a house, there's a business that's there. God is sending you there to start a ministry. And so when you have the whys, the motivation is there. You know what you're going to do when you get there, and so forth and everything else. So that's your mission. And you need to have core values while you're on the road fulfilling that strategy. The people need to build a excuse me, a good church culture, a very good church culture. And the core values will help you do that. There are family values, if you will, your church family values. It's at the core. And so, every church is going to have different values. There's no point in trying to copy someone else's church core values. You need to understand what your church core values, and it will be staring right at your face, because it's going to be simply who y'all are as a church, and it'd be something that's a principle, an eternal principle, an everlasting principle that you will hold on to, because they represent you as a church. It represents your church personality and what makes you you, unique, different, and special. So those are your core values. So once you understand that, and not just you as a mastermind, but your church members, the congregation, the youth, the elders, the leaders, the staff, the volunteers, everyone need to understand the vision, the mission, the core values. Strategizing for coaching tips you can't do without. Number two, formulating rather a high goal, long-term goal, or a reoccurring high standard or expectation. It should be very detailed, definitive, and clear of its end result. In other words, your church will establish 4 U.S. continental plants, one in Africa, one in Europe, and another in the Philippines by 2020 with international live streaming. So, that's an example. Very high, very lofty, something that you can strive for, so you can keep going and keep going and keep going. You need to have short-term goals that you on your arrival of going there, and you need to know that you made it. How will you know that you made it? And of course, everything in the small goal will help you to work all of that out. But it need to be a high goal. It need to be a long-term goal. It need to be rather a reoccurring high standard or expectation. In other words, you may want to say we want to reach $400,000 a year every year. As a minimum, which is a high standard. So that's a floor that you want to meet, and not just your ceiling. And so if you have that, then you would strive for that. You have a plan, you have a system to work towards that each and every time. Okay, so that's a reoccurring high standard or expectation. Or you're looking to bring in a certain amount of people every year. Maybe 40, 50, 60, 80, 100, 200, 500 people every year. If you have that reoccurring high standard or expectation, then you know what you should be striving for. Okay, same thing as a high goal. If your high goal, you want to have 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 members, all of your goals will be heading that way. If your long-term goal is to have 50 acres or 100 acres in a school, a college, a training school, ministry school, a daycare, different things of that nature, a whole bunch of different businesses, and so forth, or church plants, then you will have that long-term goal for all the different things there, and then all your strategies will be heading towards that. If it's something simple as paying off your mortgage, okay, if that's a goal, long-term goal, then you have a strategy that will lead straight to that. Okay. Number three, Every system should have at least three SMART goal projects cohesively working together towards the same long-term goal. Okay, so for instance, evangelism, you should at least have a minimum of three SMART goal projects working together as far as within your evangelism project. Okay, so for instance, you may have something um, uh, reaching the whole world or the globe, and have something working towards that or reaching the world. Then you have something in effect, an activity or a smart goal. They'll be reaching the community, the people right in your area. Okay, it can be in your local area, your block, your city block or neighborhood, um, your city, your county, your region, your state, something in that area. And then lastly, you know, we will go over all everything that you are doing, all your service activity and everything that you offer. We will use it as an evangelistic tool, as well as your radio ministry, TV ministry, internet ministry. All of it will be used as a evangelistic tool. Okay, a mastermind or a church leader should be the accountable SMART goal leader. Of course, your accountability partners will play a valuable role at this point. So you would definitely have a mastermind member or a church leader with that may not be a mastermind member that should be the accountable SMART goal leader. Okay, so now that doesn't mean that it excuse you as a mastermind when you write your name on the SMART goal formula worksheet that you're going to be the one that's going to be accountable, but you're going to put someone or two people under you that will be spearheaded, and you more or less will be the person who give them the report back and forth and everything else to reassure. Because see, those different people may not come to the mastermind meeting, and so you need a mastermind member who will be checking in and making sure this is done, that's done, and so forth, and everything else. And the project manager will be managing that particular group, small group in the mastermind meeting, because you have accountability partners as well. So it's a lot of check and balance, if you will. So one person won't be just left out there on a limb and they can just do what they want to do when they want to do it, or not do anything at all. And miss all your target dates and no results, and it just be something just there collecting dust. Okay? So next thing is number 4 is start thinking of an individual or two that can head your system, right? They can head your system. Remember, think of personality, emotional intelligence, skills, time, and willingness. No one like to be forced to do anything, even for God. Okay, so that's really important that we understand that people don't want to be forced to do certain things. Okay, and so that's really important. Think of someone or two individuals who can head up that system. Okay, that evangelistic system. Maybe 2 people, maybe 3 people. Okay, all working together, same goal. However, all of them will have the same goal. Won't be different goals. Be the same goal, but it may be different project, different tasks. But remember, you have a long-term goal, a high goal, and all of those different projects will be used to meet the high goal or long-term goal or reoccurring goal. They won't have a different task different goal altogether. All the different projects will work towards the same goal, and just have different steps to get there, different ideas to get there. Maybe one working system. Very important that we understand that. So it's not like, well, this group is over here, this group over here, this group over here, but they all working in the evangelistic ministry system, and so they don't need to be separated. They need to be cohesively working together on their own project task, but on the same team. So the whole team can reach that goal in that evangelistic ministry system. Okay, so that's very, very important that we understand that. Because a lot of times people don't want to cross over ministries and so forth and everything else. But see, how can a company build a car in a similar line if the other one don't know what the other one is doing, to build that car? And so we all got to work together in the assembly line to build what needs to be built. We got to communicate. We got to share. We got to help. We got to aid. We got to assist. Otherwise, there's going to be a part on the car that's going to be missing. Someone's going to miss an opportunity to put this on or put that on, and that vehicle will go out. It may do somebody harm. It may even cost someone life because we did not share responsibility and accountability and work towards the same goal. So it's very important, and it's very important who you put where. You can't just put people anywhere and just say, well, it's just important just to put you anywhere and work. You can't do that. You must put the right people in the right places, okay? That's the only way things will work properly. Don't do what David did. David just simply chose someone to carry that cart upon that ox, and that good man died. So we got to be very careful in doing that. Lastly, think team. Together, everyone achieve more, right? Together, everyone achieve more. We're not looking for lone rangers. We're looking for a team. Together, everyone achieve more. Compensate for one's weaknesses, lack of available time, one's skills, one's lack of charisma, or anything else that may be a factor while forming your team. Okay? So you want to have a whole bunch of people they got the same weaknesses and the same skills, because they're going to now be butting heads and so forth. So you need someone who's good at one thing and good at another thing, and someone who's strong in one area but weak in another area, but that other person is strong in the other area that the other person is weak in. Then that way you got a good, strong team. It's balanced. It's check and balance there, rather. And everyone can do what needs to be done, and that's how you form a team. You don't get all of the strong ones and you leave the other folks out, because then that way everyone's not involved. Everyone can do something, okay? And throughout it all, pray to hear from God. Proverbs 19:21 said that there are many ideas in the heart of man, but it's the counsel of the Lord that will stand. So therefore, it's really important that we understand that we got to pray, not just at the end, but we got to pray from the beginning, in the middle, and even at the end. And even while the team is conducting their projects, we need to be in prayer. We need to pray for them and pray for the projects, pray for the goals that God has given, and pray for wisdom and humility so we can make the necessary adjustment when we have missed it, and so forth and everything else. And you got to be very humble in this strategizing, because you may have to go back to the drawing board and realize, okay, that didn't work. Let's encourage our team. Let's encourage our leader. Tell them it's okay. Let's start back over. We're going to get this done, because we're not in a race here, a speed or strength. We're in a race of endurance, perseverance. That's who the race is given to. So, really understand that so we can encourage people, because it's not trying to who the first one going to get there. We all want to get there, so we can all celebrate one another. That's what type of team this is. That's what type of race this is. So that's all I have. Look forward and getting with you, and looking forward strategizing with you, and seeing these goals, your dream, your church vision come to pass. It's going to be really powerful. This is going to be a powerful time. This is going to be a powerful lesson here. So enjoy and be blessed. I look forward to getting with you very soon.